Hmm.
Here we are, guys. It's Friday. It's the last word, a Chrisman commentary weekly show. The screen looks a little strange today, not because you're here, Greg, but my three normal co-hosts, Christy, Courtney, and KP, are all off today doing various things, work-related, PTO-related, God only knows. But thanks for jumping in here, Greg, and being our guest host. Welcome.
It's my pleasure. You're going to the bullpen, man. You're calling in the right-hander, the short right-hander from
Might be the closer.
Pikesville, Maryland. Good job. Well done.
Love
I'm
it.
I'm actually on the road myself. I'm at IMG Academy right now in Bradenton, Florida. Both of my boys are here for different sports. It's a beautiful facility. So I'm holed up in a conference room right now that I really don't have permission to be in. So if this door over here opens and someone's like, "Who the hell are you? And what are you doing in this room?" You'll know, when I pick up, and it's actually happening right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
You've never been in a room where you don't belong, so it's nothing new for you.
Did you see that door just open?
I did.
I think I'm getting kicked out of here soon. So this
will be good. This is
going to be well, I mean, you're dealing with KP on a weekly basis. It's like anything goes. Like,
anything goes. We're good here. The LinkedIn algorithm actually likes chaos. So if we can mix in a little chaos. So, we do this every Friday. We're Christy, Courtney, KP, and I are typically covering kind of the recap of the major events of the week.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it the slowdown. It is a little quieter this time of year, but nonetheless, there's quite a bit to talk about. What I'd like to do, if it's cool with you, Greg, is I kind of made some notes. I went back to your last, 4 or 5 posts on LinkedIn, including some of your interviews, and just thought we'd kind of go shotgun through some of these real quick. And just for those that aren't following you, which there's nobody watching us that's not following you, but if they're not, they should be. You do a weekly one-on-one show on LinkedIn, and I think you stream at other places where you've had some amazing industry icons, frankly, join you. And let's start by just talking about that show, and not so much how it came about, because I think we all know how it came about, but like, what has it done for you? What have you learned doing that and getting some of those big names in the studio with you?
It keeps me sharp, because every time I have a guest on, Stan Middleman, Varun Krishna, those are 2 names, that I've had on recently from Rocket and Freedom. It requires me to study. It requires me to really know my stuff. This coming Monday, I've got, really fascinating conversation coming up with Pavan Agarwal, who's the CEO of SunWest Mortgage Company, but he's also the founder of Angel AI.
Right.
And we had a great conversation. It took place 2 days ago, just for scheduling, and we'll air it on Monday. But he talked about his cost to produce, which he says is below $200. Now, I had posted this a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
After having breakfast with Pavan in DC, he was here for a conference that he was putting on. Total upheaval. People were like, "No, it's impossible. How are you at 200? That's, give me a break." So he actually went into detail. I won't spill the beans here, but it makes kind of sense when you see what he's done with AI. From soup to nuts, the entire journey is AI led, including LOAs and processors and underwriters and closing and funding and shipping and insuring, right to the point where it gets serviced. It's all in one system, which is run by machines, which the agencies will accept that. And he goes into detail about that as well. So it's going to be a really fascinating conversation that takes place Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can sign up on my LinkedIn, but if you can't catch it because you're watching, one of the many wonderful things that the Chrisman commentary machine puts up, maybe at the same time, it'll be there for you to play back. So don't bump Chrisman out of the way for me, man. These Chrismans are legends. So I'll gladly ride, second fiddle to them.
The beauty of using these platforms to do what we do is they live on, right? And they do become on-demand vehicles. And frankly, I think you probably see this just like I do. You get 10 to 15, maybe 20x the viewers after the live.
Oh, for sure.
Happens.
No, yeah. And that is the beauty of the LinkedIn platform. And we can segue right into what LinkedIn's done for me, what it's done for you, what it's done for so many, and that's give people the courage to step out and to be heard and to talk about things that they're passionate about when it comes to the housing industry. And I love seeing new voices emerge and people getting brave and bold and disagreeing. That's where oftentimes the best conversations come. And been really inspired by so many people who have stepped out and felt courageous enough to to take that chance, to take that shot, to make that first post. And forums like what Crispin's doing and setting up all these shows and bringing on thought leaders, I think all that does is fuel that movement.
Agreed. I talk to, just like you do, loan officers every day, right, across channels, across different companies, and call it LinkedIn, call it Instagram, call it TikTok, whatever it is that loan officers are doing to put themselves out there. The one common thread that I keep hearing of people that have actually kind of gotten into a rhythm of doing it, they go back and they say, it's actually made me it's made me better in real life when I face off with consumers. So all these opportunities that we get are reps that we're taking that just continue to sharpen the sword and make us better communicators.
Sure. Well, I'm of the opinion as we look at the landscape and how the business is changing, and we've got fewer loan officers and we've got more technology, I'm of the opinion that we're going to have less people doing more. And when you think about that, the people that are going to most likely lead that change, if I'm right, are the people that really dig in and become financial educators, and really become experts in their field. And part of being an expert in your field these days is having a social media presence. It's being accounted for. It's talking about the industry and challenges that you even face. So I'm loving that there are many originators who are starting to migrate over to the LinkedIn platform, which is something we would have never seen a couple of years ago. Jennifer Easton from Rate, she started to talk a lot more about her advocacy and supporting veterans. Nicole Ruth at Movement Mortgage, she's another person who has really leaned into LinkedIn because I think that they have realized, and along with so many others, that it's a very valuable platform, that we're all here just trying to do the good work, right? Whether you're a C-suite or a consultant, a third party, somebody that's retired, whatever. If you care about the industry, LinkedIn is pretty much the only place you're going to find every walk of life in the industry, every link in the chain. The last link to come in are the originators. We're starting to see that right now.
Yeah, I agree. I've built a lot of my content and strategy to that audience. And, I'll be honest, it's been frustrating to a degree, because they're where their consumers are. They're where their business partners are in terms of the realtors. So more so probably on the Instagram and the Facebook and those other platforms. But we are seeing more voices show up from that cohort. I always kind of advise folks, it's like, if you've already taken the effort of creating content and you're using it over here, there's really no harm in repurposing it and using it again on another platform like LinkedIn. So it's a great way to kind of start out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure how much business they're going to get from consumers, but there are other ways to get business as well. There are a lot of financial planners.
Yeah.
There are a lot of attorneys, divorce attorneys and things that you can show up here in a way that can drive in leads in the less traditional verticals. And I think financial planners are going to be more and more relevant as realtors start to get captured by these other entities. Rocket obviously is the greatest example of loyalties going up underneath an origination platform, which I think puts further stress on the lead ecosystem. So you got to find other ways. So LinkedIn, I think you can go B2B here, but to get to the C, it's like B to B to C,
Well, the other factor that comes into play when you just think about one segment of home buyers, the first time home buyers, which at any given time might be the largest segment, could be a third of the total business. Every stat that comes out, like seemingly the average age of a first-time home buyer is getting older and older. We're at 38. We're probably going to creep into the 40s here before too long. And so if you think about that as the average age, they're still, on average, they're probably thinking about what it would be like to own a home at something less than 38, maybe when they're 32, 33, 34. So, if your strategy as a loan officer is literally to do what you've always done, which I'm not saying stop working with realtors, but if that's all you're doing, you're literally you're missing an opportunity to get involved with somebody's planning and preparing at a stage when you can build trust and earn the right for the business when it is time to transact.
Well, just think about how absurd it is that 10 years ago, the average age of the first-time home buyer was 31.
Yeah.
And it's 38 right now. That is a crisis, is what that is. And what that tells you is that the wealth gap just continues to widen. And just the thought that you introduced now, that number could go up.
Yeah.
What can we do to bring this into focus? To me, I posted about this subject on LinkedIn a couple of days ago. I got a lot of pushback on it from a lot of rich people, quite frankly, that what we need, like it or not, is for the cycle to play itself out fully. And what does that entail? Well, that entails a price correction, a pretty major price correction, because prices have gone up, so much, 50%, 80%, 100%, 300% in some places. And that's just made the possibility of being a homeowner even more out of reach.
Yeah.
And so people introduce these other ideas, and the simplest idea is to let the market correct itself, let these rich people be a little less rich, have the house values go down another 20% or so. And what that will do is it will, obviously there'll be foreclosures and things like that. I'm not hoping for this, but this is the evolution that we've been through multiple times. I mean, it's been way too frothy at the top. There's been way too much price appreciation. So we can pretend like that's not the case and the rich can keep getting richer, or we can look at a scenario where there is a massive correction and affordability becomes more of a possibility. I don't know what else, Brian, is going to diminish that gap. Do you have any ideas how we get that 38 number down to 35 when home values continue to go up?
Well, no, you're not seeing the same wage growth in terms of property value. That's one thing. There's there still is the lock-in effect, right, of folks that otherwise may have sold their home that could be a purchase for a first-time home buyer. So there's still some of that pressure. Your post this week also talked about the continued impact of foreign money coming into the U.S. housing market at scale, right?
Yeah, in the last 15 years, 1.2 trillion. So many a million homes in the last 15 years. According to NAR's estimates, it's not an exact number. And the people that push back, I just don't understand. I mean, how American are you? I've got people saying to me, well, it's only 2% of the total. How much is this really moving the needle? I don't give a darn. It's like if one house is purchased by a foreign entity, that's an opportunity that was taken from somebody here domestically.
Right.
I mean, I posted today, China won't allow you to buy a home there unless you've lived there for 12 months. And then in which case you can only buy one home if you're a foreigner.
Right.
And you can't rent it out, and it's a leasehold. It's not even a freehold. You don't even own it. Like, they how is it that they can keep us on the outside in, but we just let them in here? And I don't mean China. I'm not picking on China. I'm talking about any foreign entity that can just come in here. There are no barriers to entry to buying properties in the United States. Meanwhile, our own people can't even get into homes. I mean, how twisted is that? Are we focused on the right things? We're talking about tariffs and free trade. I mean, housing is 20% of the GDP or whatever. Like, this is something. I talked a lot for a long time about VantageScore, tried to elevate the awareness. I think all of us, did a great job with that. And I think that's now it's on the right track. The train is rolling down the tracks. It's going to happen. I'm going to now start shifting my focus, Brian, because I have a theory that all of us really did help with Vantage Score, FICO, and raising the awareness, getting the NBA to be a little bit more bold and specific about challenging FICO, who has been a longtime client of theirs. They've got a very difficult job to do, to straddle that fence, right? To try and please everyone. And of course, the NBA is so vital to everything that we do. But I'm going to now start to focus more on this other issue. I'm going to see how, if we can elevate this up to the Pulte level and to the administration. And I believe, and I'm a believer. Maybe I'm an eternal optimist or something, but having seen the power of our voices on LinkedIn and this movement that we're all, many of us with elevated voices, just the power of that collective voice and what it's been able to do in the last 18 to 24 months. I'm bullish that we can change this next and get some policy in place. And I'm going to see how far I can push. It's only 2 days old, but this is where my focus is going to be. This is what you're going to see me talking a lot about now. And I'm going to take it up to the administrative level and see what happens. Why not?
Does part of the conversation, do you think, kind of bleed into, we talk about this cost to construct new housing, and before you even put a shovel in the dirt, you've got 80 to 100 grand of permitting fees and all the municipality bureaucracy that kind of comes with this. Is that part of the discussion, you think, as well?
Well, I think that discussion is happening. And that's what the administration talks about: removing the red tape, removing the obstacles, making it easier to get a loan done. Opinions vary on the MBA numbers. I think it was, the last I heard, it was 11,700 to manufacture a loan. I talked to Stan Middleman. He says it shouldn't cost you any more than 30 basis points. Then I talked to Pavan at Angel AI, and he's like, well, I'm doing it for 200. Like, there's a lot of different metrics and ways.
I think
cost to manufacture, cost to produce, and there's certainly a lot of things that you can do to bring your costs down. At NFM, we've done quite a few of them. One of the main things we've done that's moved the needle the most for us is offshoring 22% of our workforce in India and the Philippines. We've got India doing a lot of underwriting, cookie cutter stuff on the conventional side at a third of the price. We saved $3 million last year by doing that, which that helps the bottom line. It helps us continue to fight the fight. And then in the Philippines, we're doing a lot of LOA work there, and it's very efficient. It's under 20 grand a year to have somebody really working so hard and so proudly and so focused. And we've seen the returns come in at a fraction of the price. And quite frankly, in many instances, they're better and more productive than people stateside. So I know that's very un-American. People are probably like, well, Greg, why are you talking about foreign entities buying properties and pushing them out, yet you're advocating going to those countries to hire workers? Well, it's a matter of survival at this point, really. It's not about anything else. I don't think it's a matter of survival. The line is very long for people in the United States that want to buy homes that can't.
Right.
In mortgage, it's just getting tougher and tougher to be able to turn a profit, to be able to help more homeowners. And there's a lot of pieces to it. And if you're an IMB, you're looking at ways to cut your costs, and that is a way. And then there is an ancillary benefit, and that is that when things slow down, it gives you the ability to turn the lever down, right? To close that valve off. It's an expectation almost, as opposed to what we saw during post-COVID, where so many incredible people got laid off. So there is a silver lining to using it. I'm not saying everyone, and I think we can take this conversation into a different direction after talking to Pavan and learning more and more about AI. A lot of people are going to be replaced anyway. Not everybody, but I think a good number of people in the mortgage industry in the next 3 to 5 years are going to find themselves replaced by machines.
I mean, if you just look outside of mortgage and look at the headline news, just about every week you're seeing, major employer, major industry, reducing headcount because of leveraging, technology and AI in particular. Staying on the AI topic, there's it's amazing to me, like how far and how fast AI has moved, not in the loan manufacturing process, but like in the marketing, in the up funnel marketing space where, I'm seeing, avatars of originators now popping up, right? And I was on a call yesterday talking with somebody that coaches loan officers on how to leverage AI to, to kind of scale their ability to create content, to talk in their voice. Not nobody wants to have, a post that just looks like it was written by Chat GPT. So there's way to train it. But during the call, somebody kind of raised their hand and said, are we going, is it going so fast that actually being authentic and being real and showing up yourself is going to stand out here pretty soon? And so I thought that was a really interesting perspective because
maybe it's interesting. It's a creative, cute twist.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, as the agentic agents, these are people that are talking to the consumers, and as these loan officers have avatars, I think it's all part of the reduction of cost to get a loan. And if you have certain assurances, if you're a consumer, particularly a younger consumer that's a digital native, I think you're probably more and more comfortable with that to get the best deal. But I understand what you're saying. Are we moving into this world where being your authentic self might be an edge? I think that's cute. I think that certain people are going to want belly to belly. That's never going to change.
Yeah.
But there's no question that the face-to-face, belly-to-belly relationship stuff, it will always be important to some people, but B, that pie is diminishing every day.
No doubt.
And as the technology continues to advance, you'd be kidding yourself to think that you don't have to rethink how you are going to do your business in 12, 24 months, 36 months. There's a ton of money pouring into this space, and mortgage has been late with technology. So it feels like we're drinking from a fire hose, but that's only because we've been so resistant to change. It's been so hard to get anything done. What I'm amazed by with AI is how you can just spin up incredible graphics in no time, and you can teach these LLMs to talk like you and speak like you. And I've uploaded 30, 40, 50 authentic writings of my own, and I don't ever use it completely for a post, but I might just type up a bunch of thoughts and things in it, see what it spits out to come up with other ideas in my voice, and then I'll frame a thought around that. And it saves a lot of time. I know people are tired of talking about it. What amazes me is that last time I took the pulse of CEOs in this business, roughly 50% of them didn't even have any use case for AI. And that's astounding to me. And largely the other 50% are mostly just using systems that only serve as receptacles for document housing. So HR manuals, guidelines,
right,
payroll dates, whatever. It's all in one place where you can, prompt something and have it come up. The advancement of AI, the next frontier, so to speak, that I think mortgage companies will really start to feel and dig into is how can we use AI to move the needle when it comes to closing more loans, to alerting us when there are meaningful opportunities, and then from that same system, having it run numbers, and from that same system, reach out to consumers by text or email, where historically you've had to go into one system, out of that system, into another system, write a note down, go into an entirely different system. I think the next phase of AI that's really going to start to move the revenue needle is marrying the LOS to the CRM in actionable ways that can ring the register. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, it's again, with as fast as things are moving, I don't. That's like right around the corner. So yesterday I had a discovery call with a prospect, and big company, big opportunity. I wanted to test something, so I asked the person that I was meeting with if I could turn the transcript on, right? And we talked for an hour, and through that conversation, he uncovered some needs that I kind of figured I thought would line up with what we were doing. And so I took that transcript. This is the example of what everybody can be doing, like in a practical way. Took that transcript, dropped it into my GPT, and just gave a brief, overview discussion. Here's who I talked to. This was the meaning of the conversation. This was the objective of the conversation. Here's the transcript. Write me a thank you email, right? And it gave me like a brilliant email with like tangible follow-ups. And it actually, that process uncovered something that I didn't even write down in my own notes, that I had committed to a follow-up. So now it's in the email. And one of the things was that I was going to create a 12 slide deck, summarizing our capabilities. And so then I asked my GPT, based on this transcript, give me an outline for 12 slides that I can create, right? Like, we're talking tops 30 minutes following this call. I had an immediate kind of spot on thank you email that I sent right away. He like loved it. And I had the framework of a deck. So it's like, this is, to me, it's the great accelerator. It's that's not going to replace me in the process, but it's scaling my ability and it's accelerating my ability to do the stuff that you have to do after you have a meeting like that. And that's where I think loan officers can scale their, themselves and, still show up as a human, but show up at scale in a kind of a bigger way.
Well, and be at multiple places at once.
Right.
You can, some of these agentic AIs, I've had several conversations with Betty, who is the agent that Better uses. Better, they have an intake of ability. Vishal's done a good job there.
Yeah.
I've had some conversations with him recently just to understand what they're doing. And it's quite fascinating when you have a conversation with their agent, their AI agent, pretty much answer every kind of question that you have. So if you have 3 consumers coming in at once, Betsy can be talking to, I think it's Betsy or Betty. It's one or the other. Can be having this conversation simultaneously with multiple consumers.
And consistent communication, right? You're not getting any variables based on.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I wanted to point out. Thanks for taking over my brain there for a minute, because there's a big compliance opportunity there. We run a risk, mortgage institutions run a risk of never knowing what your originators are saying at pretty much all times, right?
Yeah.
And so these conversations that the agentic agent is having, they're all recorded. There's a lot of coaching back that can take place to make sure that the message is consistent, constantly being refined, and you can constantly monitor it. Just imagine you're a mortgage company and all of a sudden you can police, for lack of a better word, not in a heavy-handed way, but in a way that drives success. The words that are said, the promises that are made, the way the value proposition is couched, to be able to coach back to the originators to make them even better. Yeah. That's a great use case.
Yeah, just think about my example I gave, just the transcript from my conversation, because we're all moving a million miles an hour, going as fast as we can. It's hard to kind of keep track on both sides of that conversation. And so
yeah, for sure.
I agree. You don't want to be heavy-handed. This is not a big brother thing, but the ability to coach and help people get better faster with technology it's such a huge opportunity.
I have it stuck in my mind. I'm trying to remember if it's Betty or Betsy now. I know you're about to wrap me up here, but I want to call this number to you're not going to be able to hear it, but I want to just I don't want to get it wrong. So let's tell me you can hear this.
Yep, I hear the ring.
Hi there. Great. Just to clarify, are you looking to buy a home, refinance your mortgage, or get cash from your home?
What is your name?
My name is Betsy. I'm here to help you with anything related to buying a home, refinancing, or getting cash from your home.
All right, that's Betsy. So that's Better's AI agent. And we could do a follow-up call sometime, and we can actually go through challenging Betsy. I think it would be a good exercise, actually, to go in there and do it every month to see how much it's advancing. I'm told by the people at Total Expert, Joe Wheelu and company, Dan Cantanella, a couple of my favorite people in the business.
Oh yeah.
That it's moving at lightning speed, that it's 10 to 30xing efficiency every 30 days. Think about that. So this has been an incredible conversation. Have we not covered any ground you wanted to cover, my friend?
We covered it all. The only thing we didn't do is get a walking tour of the IMG facility, but that'll be for another show.
I appreciate the opportunity, man. This is hallowed ground. Anything having to do with the Chrisman name is hallowed ground. And I appreciate what, Rob Sr. has done. And of course, what Robbie's doing now to get the baton and carry it on and bring on some great people. Loving all the content that Chrisman's putting out there, and look forward to continuing to follow that journey.
Greg, I appreciate you joining us on The Last Word, and enjoy the rest of your trip with the boys. And
thank you.
We'll all see you Monday on your one-on-one.
I appreciate it, man. Love you, Brian. Take care, buddy.
You guys.
Have a great weekend.